Hello and welcome to Angora Poets World Cafe. Hosting with you this evening from Paris and visiting and presenting poets and a photographer from various places this evening. I'm Mo Seeger. I'm one of these poets, and this is our Sunday evening, December 19th, 2021, the year that almost was. So we're going to open up tonight's session with our man from San Francisco, California, David Wilson. David, lay three on us.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Well, it being that time of year again, we'll start with this one from Ezra Pound, Ancient Music. Winter is a comin' in, Lud sing, goddamn. Raineth drop and staineth slop, and how the wind doth ram. Sing, goddamn. Skiddeth bus and sloppeth us, an ague hath my ham. Freezeth river, turneth liver, damn you, sing, goddamn. Goddamn, goddamn, 'tis why I am, goddamn. So gainst the winter's balm, sing, goddamn, damn, sing, goddamn, sing, goddamn, sing, goddamn, damn.
Oh, that's joyous to the ears, David.
Christmas spirit.
Christmas spirit.
Curious, did he write that? Seriously speaking, did he write that while he was institutionalized?
I'm not sure exactly when he wrote it, but of course it is a parody of the Old English traditional poem that goes "Summaries which is all very sweet and summery. So Ezra wrote his answer to that was, "Yeah, but it's wintertime."
God damn it all, man. Okay, and then give us number two, Dharma Dave.
Okay, so here's a poem. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Winter solstice poem. Shortest day of the year is in fact here. Rain, fuzzy, darkening gray, quilting San Francisco Bay. Christmas shopping crowds in quiet overcoats, filling the roads, lighted storefronts twinkling in the streets, smells of roasting foods on the breeze. Head on home to bundle in a small Yuletide room with a small and warming drink, a quiet candle flame, and a small pen in a book. Long night gathers on this, the northern earth, gathers all to semi-hibernatory sleep.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. David, the solstice falls on 21, December 21?
Yes. So
Okay.
what's that, about a couple days, 2 days from now.
2 days from now, okay. Shortest day of the year. All right. Three's a charm, David.
Three's a charm. Yuletide cheer. In the early gray morning light, the tail end of a year, reading a bunch of poems from 10 years before. Then my mind was on sex, or lack of it. Now my mind is on money, or lack of it. The snow and water laden clouds of this big Yuletide storm swirl around outside the windows of my Nob Hill apartment. heading northwest, southeast, a fresh hot cup of espresso from some ultra impressive, taken for granted, newfangled machine on my kitchen table wakes me up. An early morning smoke smooths me out. When I read those poems I wrote back then, I think of my circumstances back then and see them reflected in the work. The same is true of now, but the common thread is poetry, translating events like a verbal camera of unmechanical ultra-subjectivity, the emotional moments of an individual recorded through time. Good poetry is accessible to others who have lived, do live on planet Earth and beyond. Back at my apartment, the gray light is turned to blue-white. I hear streetcars rumbling up Clay Street, people moving around in the house. A loud plane goes by over the city, breaks my concentration. Back to consciousness, I strive to live the poet's life about some of the time when I think about it. And the rest of the time, I'm pretty confused, trying to find my true life's path through an ongoing series of compromises with all and everyone around me, but to stand in a hillside windowed room in the morning with a hot cup of thunderous caffeination in my grip and watch the cold Yuletide cheer outside rattle the windows. Then I feel very keenly aware, secure in myself, ready to challenge the odds, ready to speak my mind poems, to utter my poems of emotional realities and risk boiling the blood of some who may read them. Let nothing hinder the task of raising fun spirits as much as I can and encouraging goodwill and good cheer among every child, woman, and man.
Well, thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Good tidings to you. Okay. Okay, people. And now what we're going to do, which we do off and on, is invite an artist who is not doing poetry, but doing another expression of art. So I have invited Francois Bolger, who's here on your screen, who is French and has lived and worked for CBS and other jobs over there in New York City. And he's become quite a photographer with quite a following, with quite many posts, in my opinion, that capture my attention and have me look into the photograph. So let's welcome Francois Bolger, and let's give him an Angora Poets welcome. Thanks for coming on and sharing with us. All right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right. So now we had you on last week and we saw some images, and it compelled me to ask you a few questions. And one, I think, I hope it doesn't sound too trite, but in all due respect, Francois, in a city like New York that's been photographed countless times, how do you approach a scene, shall we say, where you feel you're contributing something to the photographic environment, the photo legacy of New York?
Well, it's a great question, and it's certainly you don't want to be accused of postcardism, and you want to bring whatever you can to the table every time you put a picture or you show a picture rather than take one, make one. And it's certainly something I try to do in it. I mean, it's the previous poem was so apropos in the sense that, you know, you talked about poetry being a verbal camera, and I think that's you know, a picture as a diary of an emotion. So it's really, you know, I walk and I cycle in the city at least 2 or 3 hours every day, summer and winter, to take pictures, to walk around because I enjoy it. And I go to the same places most of the time. You know, I go from Brooklyn to Manhattan. I cross the bridges on my bike. But I think that there's never the same. I'm never on the same path ever, because I'm never in the same mood ever crossing the bridge or coming back to my house, or the light is different, my mood is different, the people around me are different, and I think that the one of the best the compliments I ever received was from a die-hard New Yorker, and it was a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge under the snow, and he said, "Which bridge is that?" You know, and I think that I try to, when I take a picture, I try to really be totally open to whatever's coming my way. And I try to really receive the emotion that I have in me, that I can connect to my surroundings as best as I can. And I think you discover, if in your picture you discover what the mood of that instant, your mood is in that instant of your city, from the place where you are making your picture, I think you can take pictures that will never have been taken before and will have people wondering, even if it's obvious that some of the, you know, graphic, very hackneyed graphic elements of a city are in there. You might be able to twist them in such an emotional way that people will recognize them. As I was saying earlier, there's a book I've heard of a famous Provençal photographer who spent a lot of time in the States, and he made a book in which there was 20 pictures of New York City and 20 pictures of Cavaillon, which was where he was brought up, which is a small city in the south of France. And there was no captions to any of the pictures, and he dared people to know whether some, you know, which ones were taken in New York and which ones were taken in Cavaillon. And I think that's the challenge, is to be in such a open and new and yeah, open. I have an open state of mind that you will see your city as if you're seeing it for the first time.
Okay. Now, is there a particular landmark location in New York that continues to inspire photographs? Is there a particular, in your experience, that continues to generate an attraction for photography?
For me, it's the Brooklyn and the Manhattan Bridge. It's bridges. For me, they're the two real only graphic elements in the city, which are totally and only New York. Take any building downtown, any building uptown, Lower East Side, you name it. You could be, you know, in Utrecht, in the Netherlands. You can be in Chicago. You can be. You've seen this building before, this tower before, this skyscraper before. Maybe the Empire State and the Chrysler are exceptions, but to me, the bridges are really both an expression of the DNA of the city, in the sense that they, you know, there's no bridge like that in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Mo. But for me, the Verrazzano, you know, seen from afar, could totally be mistaken from the Golden Gate. but also not only as graphically a part of the DNA, but it's also New York is such a bridge, you know, and every time I go out, you know, I go down the stairs of my stoop and there's somebody speaking French, there's somebody speaking Croatian, there's somebody speaking, you know, Russian or Chinese. And that's New York for me. It's, you know, this constant bridge of people and cultures and stratas of people who coexist. Knowing that, you know, it's also the most segregated city in America, New York, you know. And it's not me who says it, it's the New York Times. So it's all these things, you know, that happen, and the bridges that have brought us to the city, and for me to take pictures, be with my family, do my work. And for me, the bridges, and I see them almost every day, and I never get tired of them.
Okay. And there is something about a bridge, especially the ones you noted, that that concocts an image in people's imaginations about expanse and distance and movement. And I think that might contribute a whole lot to the appeal, you know. Tell me this: when you photograph people, are there particular expressions or a particular group of people you've come across that seem to attract you when you want to photograph people?
I think you only really photograph yourself at the end of the day. And I see, and it's been said to me very often that I photograph solitude. I'm a photographer of solitude. And in New York, way before COVID anyway, it's a city of extreme extreme density, but at the same time, what attracts me here is that the incredible range of things that can happen visually or emotionally in a very short span of time, whenever you cross New York or walk around New York. And solitude resonates in me, I think, and I find it beautiful, interesting to record around me.
Now, here's an easy one. When you listen to when you read or listen to a poem, and you look at a photo, particularly one of your own that you're like, does your photo suffice for language? In other words, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Is that your experience, that your photo expresses what I might try to express in language?
I certainly try to do that, but I think that I'm not, I don't belong to a church in that sense, is that some pictures stand alone. A lot of pictures are boosted, I think, by a caption. They are always taken apart and, you know, sort of combed a different way by being accompanied by words. I love poems that illustrate pictures. Some people think that restricts their meaning. I don't think so. I think I can't remember who it was who said that. A very, very famous playwright said, was asked, but why didn't you write books or novels rather than make plays? And he used to say, well, because I like to see how my characters and my decors and my themes are going to be exploded by people who are going to take my plays and play them, and they're going to do it their way, and that's what I like. And that's what I like about my pictures, is that I think one of the things I do like about them, I don't mind them being, what I want them is to be interpreted or misinterpreted in any way possible. For me, that's the greatest compliment.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you started with not minding language to accompany a photo, because I edited a photo book by New York photographer Robert Herman, and he asked me to write small complimentary passages to many of his photos. And so I'm glad to hear that you endorse that approach. Yeah. Okay. When you look, you're familiar with Paris and you're familiar with New York. When you see the crop of photos that might come before you from Paris versus your own and what you see in New York, do you see a particular difference in attraction or attention between photos out of Paris, popular photos, and out of New York? In other words, yeah, is there a different kind of concept that the Paris photographer might approach other than the New York photographer?
I think that in New York, the more I live in it, I think that it's a much more unforgiving city, much more thankless city. And I think it's translated in the pictures about it. And there's no really way, and it's very difficult to do cute New York, I think. And I think it's more difficult than to do cute Paris for some reason, but that's just me. And I think that New York is corny, can be corny like nothing else in the world, but it's not cute, whereas Paris can be. And it's just simply a more thankless place. And the photographs I think I take, and most people take, testify to that. The other day I was in something that happened very rarely, and we were coming back from the countryside. We dropped my daughter somewhere, and so we're coming back, and I was trying to get to this very famous Italian pasta ravioli place before it closed on Sundays. And I got there and the shop was closed already, but the guy saw me coming running. And so he reopened the shop, which is something that never happens in New York. Generally, they just, wave at you and, you reopen the shop, let me choose. And then of course it's an Italian joint. I'm saying that because I'm Italian descent. And he said, it's cash only, by the way, as you know. And I said, yes, I know. And I realized that I didn't have enough for what I wanted. So I said, drop the gnocchis and the cannolis, and I'll just take that. He said, no. Today is the 86th anniversary of the day my grandfather opened this shop. So take this. It's $13 difference from what you have, and bring back the 13 when you can. Have a lovely Sunday. And that's a New York story for me. It's like, totally thankless, and people tell you to screw you this and screw you that, and then
just
this guy gives you the spaghetti from.
By unforgiving New York, do you mean you're less likely to get people in poses of happiness, of joy, of sensuality like we get in Paris?
People take more, people have more time in Paris to sit down, and it's only since the pandemic that New Yorkers have discovered the pleasure of terraces, and let's face it, and if you're sitting down on the street in New York, you're either sick or a bum, or everybody's on the move all the time, but you can't say that in Paris, of course, because and I think that's still the truth. I mean, there's something. Even in the weather is much tougher here in the summer. Not that I don't, I still love it. That's not what I mean. But there's this sensation of, you're always maybe too, you're never far away from catastrophe in your social life, and in your professional life, in your health life. Whereas in Paris, you feel more cocooned or more protected, I think. I do. Anyway.
Okay. Do you want to put your website in the chat box so people can look at
I did, but I'll put it again. It's absolutely, I'll do that again. It's www.Francois. Yeah, here we go. I'll do it. And I really have to thank you, Mo, for having me twice in a row. I hope I didn't bore you with my stories.
Well, you see, last week I couldn't. Last week
FrancoisBolger.com.
Okay, 3 W's, Francois Bringer, as you say now, FrancoisBringer.com. So there you have it, folks. Do you have an edition out now people can look at? Do you
No,
have a
I
book?
only on my site. No, I'm working on a book and I'm working on an exhibit. There's an exhibit in south of France until January the 15th
Right.
in Saint-Rémy. It's all on my site. It's all on my Facebook page, but I'm working on a book and an exhibit for
Okay.
next summer. And
Now, my
I'll
last
let you
question
know.
is, having known you for a while, I think we met originally in Paris, down in Aix-en-Provence. Okay, my last question is, you had an expo in Paris a couple months ago. How do you feel your French gallery visitors reacted to your expo? Is there a difference in reactions between the French viewers and the New York viewers of the same
Yeah, it
expo?
wasn't in Paris. It was in the south of France. I think people were really floored by having pictures of New York in a small village of Provence, which I did on purpose, obviously, because it's usually beautiful stones and whatever. But I'll say that there's more similarity between, believe it or not, between New York and Beaulieu, the little village where I live, because you know. In Provence, I mean, you live among nature and it's nature around you. In New York, I think that a lot of New York tries to imitate nature. And I think there's for me, the Empire State Building looks like the White Cliffs of Dover, or there's something New York tries to imitate. There's a minerality in New York. It's very, I think, that talks to me in that sense. So, there are more similarities between my small village and the area where I live in Brooklyn. The bigger one being that I'm of Italian descent. I for some reason moved to Italian area of Brooklyn, and if I didn't understand who Italians immigrants were in my village, I think I wouldn't understand my area in Brooklyn now. And I use each to understand the other, and that's the other beauty of Brooklyn is that in New York is that there's a bit of everyone in this place, and there's even nature really when you want to look at it.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you. Thank
And
you. Yes.
it's always nice to have a fellow artist come on and talk about their expressions, and one like yourself who appreciates poetry. You said you were going to read a poem, and I invite you to do so right now.
If you don't want me to, it's in French, and I hope I don't bug out the joint too much. And
no, that's okay.
Tell me. It's in French, and it's called Gris-Gris. Je rebondis entre tes lattes indécises, qui sur le mur se précisent, en attendant que tu me jettes un sort. Gris-gris, se dit Laura, qui se croit transformé soudain en carrosse. Pourquoi prendre le train? Gris-gris, hurle le fauve en nage, épuisé à l'oreille du bois, à la gazelle enfuie. Gris-gris, crie Schliemann, les doigts saignants, épaules arc-boutées sur la pierre, scellé par les ans, prête à ouvrir la boîte de Pandore. Gris-gris, pense le preneur d'otages, le doigt dans la boîte et la boîte en main, en attendant l'orage de la rançon. Gris-gris, bouée de sauvetage, canot arrimé au bastingage, et ta silhouette irrésistible vers laquelle je rame à jamais. Gris-gris, les chevaux ont quitté leur cage, je suis assis à l'ombre d'un palmier chenu, ma main serre avec les dieux des tickets perdants.
Merci beaucoup pour le poème. Attention, Gregory. Okay, Francois has to take his children out for a holiday outing, so we want to say goodbye to you. Thank you, Francois.
Thank you so much. Have happy holidays. Please, everybody stay safe. And I hope we meet again. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope the next time is in New York, actually. Next time I'm there. You be well. All right. Thank you, Francois.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Oh, nice. And now we're going to move to back to poetry, of course. And I want to bring us back home here to Paris, France, and bring on Bill Strangmeyer. Bill, you are on.
Okay, thank you, Mo. This being the season of death and rebirth and nostalgia and wrapping up, I'm going to read a long poem. I'm only going to read one because it takes about the time of 3 ordinary poems. And it starts with a quote from my late friend Mario Kamenetsky. Traveler, your footprints are the path and nothing else. This is called My True Stories. We claim to seek the truth about ourselves, though some of us know to keep it hid, but sometimes the story has too little light. From other times and other caves, there still shines a beam that can baffle our sight and give us to wonder when the night is torn. I've been many things and many times. We've been many things and many times. I've lived the lives of many a thing, a stone, a star, the cut down tree, a mammal who died on a cow path, a he, a bee, a she. The earliest human that I remember in cave and forest at a fire one night or grey-lit day, in tears at night, the fatigue and stupor at day. I was a retarded boy with a fuzzy mind. My mother, my many times mother, to take away the magic that a sex can find, threw me castrated and sacrificed to the priests and the flames, to the rites and the ceremony, chanted and played out by white-faced ghosts in pantomime. Lucky I wasn't so clear in those times. I felt little, was little, and couldn't curse the fire or their crimes. The humans love their little crimes. Tribes and farms and trades and wars, then a monk in the dark of again backward Europe's prayerful night, with my brother in their fortress against the damned, near the sunny glens where we'd played, orphaned brothers in the brethren's care, not yet under rigor and scholarly games. That was a happy time. I think they were few, and they seem invisible to me now. We grew into their ways, learned how to move and to angle, maneuver the Bible and manipulate God. Each word weighed and each act weighted with the evil that bounded us round. And then one day I let slip a careless phrase, then an angry jibe, and my brother believed that I'd fallen to sin, or else it was politics and a promotion. The fire again, but no cutting that time. I burned with the tears of my brother's revenge, revenge for a word that was no crime. I've seen him since in many scenes. He likes to play daddy, control the whip and scalpel, but dogs we are and dogs we remain, though the pleasure of fixing is not always blood red. The Spanish were cruel and the soldiers rapes that they called whores. I bore 2 daughters to my parents' disgrace, took over their inn when they died of the air. Then the inn was stolen, though he left me a room. I sold my daughters to good men and kind that they could control, that would love more than they. Management safer and better than love, and more fitting for overcast Holland. I told them why, and for that they loved me much, though I wished that they would love me less, for when I died, they pulled the ghost back down to the earth by my feet. I had to stay a watcher for years in that optimistic country and watch unhappy enlightenment lives, not mine, go by, and even death is tied to time. I couldn't cut and run, I couldn't float away. I learned too much for that wooded time. We could not really see or feel the boredom that flows from our cannibal horrors. The living dead eyes were there in war or in our churches, breathing sulfur to the faithful. Most could not see us, unbodied passers-by we. My children could not see me, but still we were not separate until in turn they died. And now we are again together. I kept for many lifetimes a bitter and logical fear and a hatred of that stupid dance called war. While even in peacetime, I sometimes murdered the stepper on the stair. One life I lived as a not too pretty femme fatale, mainly at night, and I remember October rain and the smell of rotting September leaves and of fires. A breathless spy, a treacherous and ordinary looking gal who cut as if sex were a knife, who laughed but knew no joy, lived mainly for revenge. That's why I've been paying such heavy debts, been so in love with the chase and the act, always wanting what I couldn't have, and the tragedy of the loss invented in my mind. It was to understand the other side, to know how they feel pain, or conceive desire and longing for a form, a song, a face, a word, and desperate lust to own and escape on wings from inner need or lack of what? Beauty, grace, what even God, his ubiquitous self, cannot possess, escape from guilt.
For would he keep such relief from us if he could simply give? Do we seek just to seize a soft moment at ease with one's birth, with one's being, to own a gesture and live in its charm? Though some dislike beauty, robot-making machine men, they just want slaves for their empty selves. For others are but toys or targets for their selfish rage. But still they come and they go, they come and they go, with razors in their hair and honey on their breath, finding all this wonder ordinary, not bizarre, just life on TV, life on the farm. And I leave a finger here or there, one still stroking a prominent soft cheek, 10,000 leagues away. Another in the crevice of a heart, or at least in flesh. I leave a fingerprint, a bruise, some bit of my life within a kiss. I leave a trait, I leave a thought. I lose, I win. I do not know what matters more in this marathon along imagined paths. A scavenger hunt for the ghosts of those about to die. This tiresome quest for redemption I pay to get some understanding of what I might have done or not on the other side of that barricade with orifices filled. But perhaps others know what I do not, that life and desire are just flat and ordinary, dusty, I suppose. And if you're a fool like me, a naysayer in a good citizen's happy xenophobe life, making up chimeras to avoid the day, too bothered by housework to look at the glass. But still, I prefer the scenery here on this side, or perhaps one would say at this point on the wheel. From this birth, I've been bored by the charms of static, electrically whisker-breathed, whiskyish goons of the sex I have joined. Not much for me there, but I have to be ready in case I go back. We all go back and forth. We none of us are set to try to be kinder and not to cut out their hearts. Be kinder even to snakes, as Tiresias learned. Give up old desires, give up old revenge, but who knows what gate we seek until it opens wide, until we know what's old. We all have to do again until we get it right. Original sin is desire to hurt and to punish. In a desert we make an Easter island with vainglorious hats under a punishing sun by a clotted ocean, claiming compensation, trying to kill time. So this life here now serves me only as a metaphor for all the others, or for all that I've feared. Perhaps it's my last one just because of that, although no such luck is a better bet. I keep thinking that happiness is a practical goal if we want to shuffle off and avoid repeats, if you can. Why can I remember no simple, happy lives? Or should I ask who remains so innocent as life matures and ages in our souls? Then lots of sex is a noble and not a trivial ideal, but you have to keep running to stay in that game, and the lies you must tell will take their toll if the Christians get you when you're young. In these countries of anger and lies and adults, where the meaning of honesty follows moral style, and our ideas of morality seem to me like a joke while the monkey tribe continues to stink. Where then is the answer? Where then is the goal? No, that's when we play football. That's when we're at school. The question that I ask myself now is, how much longer can this last? Sometimes with joy, anticipation, sometimes more with love of the dark. Thank you.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack in that poem, Billy. All right. I was first struck by when you said, what was it? We toys and targets we aim at with our rage.
That was brilliant.
Let's see. For others are but toys or targets for their selfish rage. Talking about robot making machine men.
Mhm.
I'm talking about, and my reaction is about very disillusioned people after the failure of what they thought was a true romance, who thought they were essentially a toy or a target for someone's ego quest.
Well, some people are like that all the time.
Yeah, it seems to be more and more prominent. What can I get from you?
Mm.
It's the fault of the internet, Poe.
Yes. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Bill, and for laying that one down. And we know there'll be more to come. So I'm going to move on now, go back over to New York and invite Lydia on. Hello, Lydia.
Peace. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so Linda Jones was just celebrated her 13th annual renaming of the street in Newark. I say Newark as in New Ark, but this is dedicated to Linda Jones, the voice. Does her yodeling lay continue strain upon heavens? Demand the rain to address Newark with its own tones and elements, outpours of Baptist churches, according to paying lyricists and dogmas and love sagas, betrayal, wounds published through. For your precious love, amaze a glee deep within. These broken hearts crest between netted breasts, a wandering voice like hers gone in tomorrow's wind.
Oh, nice. Now,
yeah, she died very young. She died, I think she was 27. And they did the renaming of the street, and they had a big celebration with all the people who knew her. Her voice is absolutely amazing.
And she was a homegrown woman from Newark?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I have a lot of friends in Newark. I have to bring that up next time I get over there.
Absolutely, definitely.
Do you know
Yeah.
Linda Jones? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, please, Lydia.
Okay, this one is kind of short, but you know my theme today. Okay, so music soothes me like a warm glass of brandy. It's like black tea and soft pillows and blank thoughts when I just want to be alone. And drift into my lullabies is full of jazzism, like Dolphy, railing his brass through my soul and my spirit. It summons trains and Clifford's Harlan Hercules of tubes to soothe the child belonging to the great gods of music, rioting keynotes that fly and float, unlocking bones relaxed on Count Basie or Strayhorn and Garner's chords. Last stop is always seems to be in Harlem, calling of the sweet potato man, sweet potato, sugar, sugar, sugar, sweet potatoes. And down the block, you can hear Pigfoot Mary smelling those trotters, keep on boiling and corn with sweet butter. And the music played out of jazz joints all over the place, and Dapper Duke and Stray's A Train. I want the music to peel my skin so I can feel ancestors within calling, traveling through my soul. Express and allow me to reap Weston, Randy Weston, Brooklyn, Africa, voodoo, and blowing cool down, bright cold complexity into the universe about me.
Thank you. Okay. I'm so glad to hear that you mentioned among the greats, Eric Dolphy.
Oh
and
man,
Billy,
Eric Dolphy, a genius, unbelievable.
And Billy Strayhorn, who's Lush
Yes,
Life.
Pittsburgh. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
The lyrics to which is poetry in my ear. Lush
Yes,
Life.
definitely.
Okay, great. And number 3, please. 3 is a charm.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is it for my music thing. I was in Washington Park near New York University, and I met this brother, and I said to him, I mean, really, your music is beautiful. So what's your name? And I said, we talked, we spoke, and he said, my name is Dusty Rhodes. So this is for him. Yeah, he had no shirt on, but he was playing. So I said, here's for Dusty. He said his name is Dusty Rhodes. Stone, leaving tracks to harvest his tunes in the park. This is for Sonny, he said, who refused to be blue. And his lilting notes ascend, the dervish a spin, even his weeping swept your atop the skies, and azaleas cascading through aisles, I shade of others watching you. I sit back and display your fluidity. I was frozen by your dressing for change. Still, I remained inside your instrument. Can you blow me? Oh, were you weeping or playing to a poet to scratch her palm, which I was to itch and scribble down your notes? Word in your portrait for reference, because I want to retain you in my brain, and let me near to hear your cry and steady itch up into your sunny skies and rising between granite and conversation, and the blowing horns gave this spring day a name, something to sing and something to swing with you, even if you gave me your name and you said it was dusty roads, blowing life and story told, draining the vein of swing, blood cords to moil chambers within, to witness the brass teardrop off the bell delta, animate vinyl of dead giants gone from record graves I made inside milk crates. No sleep knowing you, Dusty, because I hear your horn and it still weeps. Armstrong, Dean, the music nymph, revealed by his musical trails, continue to trill, stroking everlasting hills. Who could be so cold in the heat, kaleidoscopic symmetry, wail that impale thoughts of these men called pharaohs? And yesterday, you were just a fortune photograph, settling at the center's universe. And there you were, like mourning doves, a kazoo with a coo, standing there with no shirt.
Okay. All right.
Look, I tried to do that off the top of my head. I change it every time I don't have my pages. But anyway.
Yeah, well, okay, let it evolve. That's cool.
Let it evolve.
Let it evolve. I mean, that's what Roberta Flack did when she heard, what was his name? Don McLean, Bye Bye American Pie. She wrote that song, strumming my face with his fingers.
Fingers, yes.
Yeah, she did. Okay, so you never know. Okay, well, thank you, Lydia.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure. Keep us informed in your poetry about our jazz and blues legacy and how it plays out on the streets of the lives of New Yorkers. All right, now we're going to come back to Paris, and we're going to invite on Caroline, or Carolina, as she will sometimes likes. Hello, Carolina.
Hello. So let's read 3 poems. One in Spanish, one in English, and another one in French.
Okay, very nice. Mix it up.
Let's begin with
okay, let's begin with a general description of the Spanish poem.
Well, the Spanish poem is one poem from the last Federico García Lorca books of poems. I think he died while he was writing it, because at the end of the book there are other poems from Pablo Neruda and other friends who wrote about his death. So,
and what can you say he's trying to express in this poem?
Oh, it's about un encuentro, missed meeting between 2 people, and they can't connect. They can't meet each other. So
Okay. A theme that resonates through the work of Konstantinos Kavakis as well, the Greek poet. All right, go for it.
The title is Encuentro. Ni tú ni yo estamos en disposición de encontrarnos. Tú, por lo que ya sabes. Yo la he querido tanto. Sí está veredita. En las manos tengo 2 agujeros de los clavos. ¿No ves cómo me estoy desangrando? No mires nunca atrás. Vete despacio y reza como yo a San Cayetano, que ni tú ni yo estamos en disposición de encontrarnos. That's it.
Okay. All
So
right.
sad.
It transmitted that way in my ear. Okay, and your second poem is in which language?
Maybe the one in French. It's well, I wrote it at the beginning of December, no, of November, and it's about me in my kitchen during the night, remembering my childhood and during the holidays, and in the morning the breakfast at my aunt's house. It's quite nostalgic.
Okay, let's go.
Le brouillard a absorbé les tours. Je regarde les chiffres dégringoler de 10 en 10 sur l'hygromètre. Au contact de l'air froid, la vapeur tourbillonne en volute et sort rejoindre la nuit. Envolée de bébés nuages nés en captivité. Comment savoir ce qu'ils deviendront? On ne bague pas de l'eau. L'odeur des pâtes se mêle à celle de la fumée. Ça sent les crêpes. Il n'y a pas de beurre salé à ramollir dans le buffet. Pour tout à l'heure au petit-déj. Il n'y a pas de beurrier, ni de buffet, ni de lait cru bouillu avec l'anti-montelet en verre. Samedi, on n'ira pas au marché pour en racheter. De toute façon, il n'y a pas de Nesquik à mettre dedans, ni de mini-passoire pour retenir la peau. Je m'en fiche. Je suis allergique au Nesquik et au lait maintenant. N'empêche, ça manque l'ambiance du marché bondé les jours de pluie.
Ah, okay. You got me off guard there. That was quicker than I thought. All right. Nostalgie. And now and now 3 is a charm. Give us 3 is a charm.
Well, the third one, you already know it. It's imponderable. I think it's good to finish by something soft and wow. Not so soft. And it's, well, the translation in English. She's in rebirth and in no future, in disappointment and in its consolation, and in System D when the plans ABC all failed, with the wind which turns suddenly, tsunami, fly in the ointment, millstone in the shoe, avalanche, fire. God is here, Karen Blixen's Kikuyu friends would have said on her African farm. She is in grain of sand that blocks the gears. She is in the phone call at 3 a.m. or in the first one in the morning or in the 6 p.m. one. As if it were a good moment to say those kind of things. She is this other time, real, which insists on disrupting the planned program, time measured. She is the time detached, and its immensity, its elasticity, its accelerations and suspensions in flight. She is in the enchanted parenthesis which opens between 2 conversations. with this angel passing by. She is elusive. She is in the surprise when words hereafter overflows the language. She is in this smile floating on the corner of the lips, in the reflection of a tear, bitter or sweet. She is in the caress and in the goosebumps. She is unexpected, but in her place. She is the melancholy wave. She is in what hurts, shakes up, pierces, cuts, pushes, pulls off. She dies and is born continually. She is in the empty space in the heart of everything. She is imponderable.
Beautiful.
Okay, she
Yes.
is in the empty. She is in the empty space of the art of everything. That's brilliant.
Yes.
Carolina, thank you very much. That was nice. Very nice. Thank you. And in 3 languages, World Cafe. All right. Now we are going to near Istanbul, Nursel. Hello, Nursel. Now I have 2 poems this evening from Nursel. And as I do, I read you her poem in English first, and she follows, of course, in her original Turkish. So Nursel, this poem is Love Champagne. Love Champagne by Nursel Ertekin. Love Champagne. A young woman on the sidewalks of Paris. She walks with a heavy limp, 1 foot bare, shoe heel in one hand, love champagne, sadness drunk. His last girlfriend in Spain, Pierre's tears carved in chestnut wood. 5 in the morning, it's a red twilight space, autumn playboy in your buttonholes, a champagne at every bar, heart, red eyes, Pierre's tears caved in chestnut wood. Whoa. Thank you. Okay, Nursel, please.
Aşk, lav, şampanya. Paris kaldırımlarında genç bir kadın. Ağır aksak yürüyor, yalpa yalpa. Bir ayağı çıplak. Bir elinde ayakkabı ökçesi. Aşk, şampanya, hüzün sarhoşu. İspanya'da son sevgilisi. Kestane ağacına kazılı Pierre'in gözyaşları. Saat sabahın 05'i. Ortalık kızıl bir kan yeri. İliklerinde sonbahar çapkını. Her barda şampanya. Yürek kırmızısı gözleri. Kestane ağacına kazılı Pierre'in gözyaşları. Thank you. Merci.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. That was very nice. All right. Now we're going to read the next poem that Nursel has contributed for tonight. And this poem is called Bleeding Story. Bleeding Story by Nursel. Okay. Your voice falls into a deep well in my soul. I'm living in the night with a rose distraction. My heart can't stand its flow to another heart. You caused deep pain in my heart when you left. Moonlight seeps through my sorrows. I'm wearing new sorrows on my sleeve, like crazy. I am setting up all the hours with a wistful longing. In me, the horses of the year are equal to the winds. What we live is a story that bleeds ecstatic. Our love for Kanar is in a garnet wine. My clothes from the sunlight tell me that worn out consciousness can no longer sew. Woo. Thank you, Narcel.
Bleeding Story. Kanayan öykü. Derin bir kuyuya düşüyor. Ruhumda sesin. Yaşıyorum bir gül dalgınlığıyla geceyi. Kalbim dayanmıyor. Başka bir gönüle akışına. Giderken kalbimde derin acılar büyüttün. Kederlerimin içinden ay ışığı sızıyor. Yeni hüzünler takıyorum koluma delicesine. Efkarlı bir saat hasrete kuruyorum bütün saatleri. İçimde yılkı atları rüzgarlara eş. Esrik, kanayan bir öyküdür yaşadığımız. Kanar aşkımız, lal rengi bir şarapta. Güneş ışığından benim giysilerim, eprimiş vicdanlar dikemez, söyleyin. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Are other people experiencing a little bit of a freeze on their screen?
A little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's my phone.
I'm
I am
doing
too.
okay. Everything's fine here.
Okay, I'm getting a little bit of freeze, particularly when people are wrapping up, like a 2-second delay on their wrap-up words. But that's the nature of the internet, probably on a very busy night. Okay, let's go Free as a Charm from Narcel, okay? And this poem is called Silent Scream. Silent Scream. I'm cold in your eyes of a silent scream. I'm tired of my plundered hopes. From the crazy age of love, a wine cloud passes by. The lace I knit from my pain, a dashed star on my head now. I will see the eye of the sun, unruly clouds wash my face. The lace I knit from my pain, a dashed star on my head now.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Narcel, for you.
Sessiz çığlık. Üşüyorum. Üşüyorum. Gözlerinde sessiz bir çığlığın. Hayra yorarım. Talan edilmiş umutlarımı. Aşkın deli çağından şarabi bir bulut geçiyor. Acılarından ördüğüm dantel başımda tahlı bir yıldız şimdi. Göreceğim güneşin gözünü. Asi bulutlar yıkadı yüzümü. Acılarımdan ördüğüm dantel başımda tahlı bir yıldız şimdi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And let me most happily add that Narcel's book is coming out and it is bilingual. It is published, her poems are published in Turkish and English. And so I put a message in the chat box that she might let us know who is her publisher, and where we can buy her book. Congratulations, Narcelle.
Congratulations.
And we hope Angora Poets had a little something to do with your advancement in English, your wonderful poems in English. We hope we had a little something to do encouraging your good work for us. Okay. Thank you, Narcelle. Thank you. Okay. And next we want to come back to Paris and present another bilingual poet, Claire Andreani. Hello, Claire.
Hi everyone, so happy to be here.
Good.
How are you, Mo?
I'm good. My system works fairly well tonight, so I feel better.
Okay, I have one poem that I wrote really recently. It was just before falling asleep. I was in the night, I was in the dark in my bedroom, and I had this really, really pleasant moment when I was stretching, and I felt the pleasure I would have sleeping in a few minutes. And I kind of let myself go in Morpheus's arms, and I wrote this poem thinking about this moment. Sleep. When I look at the blackness of this room, I sigh with enchantment. The dark shadows don't scare me, but invite me to enter a new dimension, a world where you can't see. My body stretches with delight, and my limbs linger like long branches reaching the river, a place where dreams and fairies dwell happily. I hear no sound apart from the sweet rustling of the pillow under my neck and my almost imperceptible breathing. The night sky is still like a dark ocean with no waves. The clouds are apart as if to let me see what's between them. The beautiful bareness of my soul, humble, admirative of the fullness of emptiness, its density. Looking in the void before me, I see black eyes diving into what seems to be ebony braids, weaving light and shadow in a game of perception where the image always wins. The echo of an object makes it deeper, like the curtains that look as black as night and yet allow figures to be projected on the ground, a reflection of objects that only exists in their darker images. I feel whole in this environment that leads me to close my eyes and feel the wind caress my hair or hear it howling against the window in winter. My body is like a warm lake refreshed by the air. Right now, I can plunge into this second state of mind, forget about everything, and let my mind wander. Dream near the silence of my window like a happy widow embracing darkness, enjoying her death for a short time and jumping into the whirlwind of doubt.
Oh, whoa, okay. Wow, sensual intimacy with oneself. That is nice.
Thank you,
That
Tim.
is nice. Very nice. I thought that was very provocative to hear such sensual intimacy inside oneself.
Oh, really?
You know,
Okay.
yeah, generated and concluded inside oneself. Well, stimulated or triggered by another or other. So that was very nice. We don't talk enough in our poetry about how good our own bodies can feel independent of another or of other.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I like
you.
that very much. Thank you, Claire.
My second one was written in August this year. It's about how you can find yourself when you're a bit lost, and it's called Quest to the Self. Everything is a way to myself. The wind turning around me, showing me the path to destiny. I entered the ears of the gods, and they whisper dreams of fabulous deeds, Encourage me to fly and believe in the purple sky of dusk, the one offering a vision of the past, the future smiling at me. Everything is still. Invites the viewer to stand and face eternity. The sky is silent and looks back at me in the peacefulness of the streets. My head spins and takes the colors like a printed image, inscribing itself in my memory. Pink and purple. This barren world telling me to look inside the infinite realms of my mind, offering reflections of any kind. I walk on the clouds of twilight, hesitate between the out and the in, the real and its image, the concrete and the ethereal, the will and destiny, not knowing if I should follow the current or swim against it. But one thing is certain, I belong to me, and my mind can wander in unseen landscapes, dream until the infinite. I will always be present to myself, forever here, between dream and reality, between the unsure and the whale, turning its wheel with the water of truth, smiling to fate, singing.
Oh, nice. Well, there's applause for self-affirmation. Okay, go with self-affirmation, woman. All right. Do you have Three's a Charm?
Yeah, one that I found that I also wrote in August, probably read to you, but it was a few months ago, so it doesn't matter. It's called Green, and I think it's about nature, and it's my feeling about this color and what nature triggers in me during the summer. Okay, green. Sorry. The leaves speak another language. My mind must wander, green like the purity of my thoughts. I fly among the trees, the white space between the leaves, fearless. There's only one thing in my soul, transparency, transcendence. The kind of transcendence that makes you forget there are limits, but says you are everything, in every object, every particle. You are the world that you see, the air that you breathe, a perfect harmony. No more hunger of the flesh, but thirst for the spirit. This thing surrounding you, becoming you eventually. Maple trees, oak trees, each home has its particularity with one thing in common, the will to be one among other things, to become everything. A backpack, a laughter, the white breeze making the leaves budge delicately, resonating like soft rain in the noisy silence of dusk, when the sun merges with the horizon and offers a spectacle, infinite, repeating day and day, yet never the same. You prosper in the unity of this plurality, in the repeating change of sameness. The image becomes the truth inside you, as though there was no distinction between the image and reality, between the out and the in, for you are the infernal image that you see, universal singularity. The image becomes you in this revolution of spring, where everything is green and where the leaves talk in darkness. Thank you so much.
Where the leaves talk in darkness. All right, thank you, Claire. Thank you. You are the world. What is it? Your world is what you see. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think a lot of things, but that seeing is so often the confirmation of what I might believe or feel. So I got to side with you on that. And I'm supposed to be a wordsmith. Okay, thank you, Claire. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And now we will stay in Paris, and we will bring on our poet and co-editor of Poets Wear Prada, and bring on happily Jack Cooper. Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So I'm going to revisit Christmas three poems about Christmas. The first has a two-word title. The first word is no, and the second word, actually the second is just a solitary letter L. So it's called No L. Something has landed in our living room. It originated in the ground, but comes from the skies. It breathes light and joy, and children love it. And it almost seems ordinary. That is the strange thing. You could look and still not see it, blind to what it stands for, and impervious to its visitation. We see through the eye, not with it. And this is proof. It happens every Christmas. I was indifferent to it until tonight.
Okay. All right. Another commentary on we see through the eye, not with it. Okay. All right. Okay, number two. And you're going to do another one about Noel, about Christmas?
Yeah, but this one is in a little different spirit. It's called Humbug.
Okay.
I put up some light tonight, which trace tracks inside my tears. Coruscate, the mistletoe, without lips to read, what good will it do? What strange and spiteful world surrounds, links disregard to discard, like popcorn strung around the tree. Me deplores, ha, ha, ha. With neither toys nor joy to lead its sleigh, what can Christmas be or become? But carols mouthed by exiles, bystanders at the feast, who know not that they do. The Christ they slew, newborn this day, Santa they forgot, alike receive lip service, well deserved as deceived. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, no. All right. Okay, Jack.
Okay.
All right. So
All
there's a turn on sentiment. How about Freeze the Charm?
Okay,
Turn that one on.
This is in more of the same. This is called Sup. I supped on memory tonight and sorted chronology, glimpsed being, cursed to become, still stranger to myself, disdained intruder, adversary most and least advocate, despite scapegoated name. The fame once sought has quite turned me on its head, misprision mine, my effort to esteem myself both father and the child. Discredited since I live and work, a man alone, no one yet to care for me except less. And then pitying all I should have done, not did, who I was and am, never to have been.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Well.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Okay. And after that last poem, it's like I think you can be measured beyond what you said about what I'm not, what I could have been.
Yeah.
But
Merry
aren't we the
Christmas,
harshest?
Jack.
Thank you, David.
And aren't we the harshest critics upon ourselves?
Yeah.
Hey, how about that? Okay, well, it's my turn to come up now, and I'm going to read you a Christmas poem. Indeed, it is. In 1987, is when I wrote this in 1987. There was really high unemployment in Pittsburgh with the shutdown of the industrial base, mainly steel making. So there were a lot of people out of work getting very meager benefits, and we had an extremely cold season. So I went to a Christmas gathering with a bunch of peaceniks, and one of them was a nun named Becky, and we had a talk about the glum times we were living through and our various efforts to aid the hungry, the homeless, the people in debt with rent, things that have come back again during COVID, you know. And so, okay, so we finally looked at each other while we were dipping in, you know, cheese and olives and things like that, and we just kind of looked at each other. And Becky said, "What are we going to do, Mo?" And I said this: ask. I'll ask Santa Claus. You ask God. Come late December, a blanket of snow needs to fall, soft and quiet, upon the jagged quilt of our land, that a fresh wind shall sweep clean old maples and pines, and cool our busy heads and tempers, that we look, listen for just a bit in innocence, in curiosity, babes in ourselves. I'll ask Santa Claus, you ask God, to set one star apart, brilliant, its shimmer stirring waves of hope, of faith across a nighttime sky for all to claim, to a nighttime drifter who would cradle a fallen sparrow in the cups of his hands, feeding his fellow creature from the milk of his heart, this being purpose. I'll ask Santa Claus, you ask all pleasures, magic in the eyes of an orphan, and multiply this vision by the truth of his and their dreams, that he may lend generously to every child in need of laughter. I'll ask Santa Claus, and you ask God, do you think they might turn with the bend of wide maples and tall pines and blow upon the winds to give direction as the cool night sky soothes the pain of a drifter lost, a sparrow fallen to brighten the black eyes of our needy neighbors? Jesus, seeing the same, rooted the money lenders, turning to the hungry, we shall have our loaves and fishes. Pray you do these deeds in acts, in spirit. And he added, it's easier for a blind man to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. And the Pharisee sent the soldier. I'll ask Santa Claus, you ask God. We're not asking for much. A fresh white blanket of snow, soft and wet upon the ruddy cheeks, a lone star shining, fire in the hearts of men again. Peace settles, all is calm, all is bright. Waken. So, that's written in 1987.
You really nailed it.
Nice,
on that
Mo.
one, Mo.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice,
you.
Mo.
And her name, this nun, was Becky Newland, who would later leave the calling and marry a friend of mine, another human rights advocate, Larry Funston, a lawyer. Okay, so there you have it. I'm satisfied just reading one poem for now. So let's
Great.
take a minute and prepare yourselves to come back with 2 poems in just a few minutes right here. Okay? Okay.
That bromide or whatever it is, that if you have if you're going to say something, say something nice or
Yeah, or don't say anything.
don't say anything, right? And
Yeah, okay.
what happened to raining on my parade? It's just
Yeah.
Or how about Tom Lehrer and he felt if people couldn't communicate, that they could at least shut up.
Yeah, love Tom there. Yeah.
Good. Okay, because it reminds me, and I didn't know to what degree this became a true battleground among people. Like hearing it online doesn't necessarily reflect, the size of a movement. But I remember some nearly 10 years ago in Pittsburgh, on the city hall steps every year is a Christmas tree, decorative to represent the city. Well, 10 years ago, on the eve of Christmas, there was a vote to remove the Christmas tree so that it did not offend non-Christians. And so it actually came up in a major city through government.
But that's a different situation. If you have a religious display in a government setting, because we have to have a very strict separation between this church and the state, in the United States anyways.
Yeah,
that's our tradition, and it's
supposed to be true here in France, and yet in front of the mairie, locally, there must be, I've never seen so many Christmas trees in one place.
Right. I think the Christmas tree has, how do you say, outsized the original meaning, that it's a symbol in and of itself. It's a tree, it's lit up, it's colorful, it's pretty. It caught on in Japan 20 years ago when everybody outdid Christmas more than in the States.
And it's in the English, the Western world, because Prince Albert brought it to England when he married Victoria. So it's kind of a recent phenomenon in terms of our celebration in America and England.
I'm gonna
Tannenbaum.
Say what?
I'm going to search for a Lawrence Ferlinghetti poem.
Okay. Why don't you do that?
That begins, Christ came down from the cross today, I think is how it's
going. Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. All right. So are we ready to go into round 2 and give ourselves 2 poems? I see some nods. Now, I think Narcelle does not have 2 poems to enter this week, but I could call up 2 of her past poems so that we could hear them again. I think that could be quite acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. And let's look at the little list. Okay, so Dharma Dave, you're the man to start us off in round 2. Well, that's encouraging. He walks out.
Sorry, guys.
So much for your group.
Hey, you know what? One thing I like about Angora Poets is it's fun. So can't help but have fun.
Yeah.
So,
really.
And I put a link just to guys show my homepage currently has a link from it to the Angora Poets video online archives. So I encourage everybody to look at that. Yeah. There's a couple links about this first one, which is about one of our most notable San Francisco eccentrics, a fellow named Frank Chu, who carries around a sign indicting mostly politicians to 12 galaxies. And his sign always changes. It's like a poem. And he's showed up at just about every demonstration and protest and parade in town, at least for at least 20 years.
Yes,
And,
I saw him once on a demonstration with Jack Hirschman organized down
yes, I'm
near
sure he did.
down near Canal Street. You're right. He showed up. Okay.
Frank's
Let's hear it, Dave.
Frank's sign is like an evolving poem. I just saw him a couple weeks ago on the bus, and then I thought about how when Bob Dylan's very famous press conference in San Francisco in 1965, which I posted a link to it, so you guys can look at it later, and note how he cleverly planted poets like Allen Ginsberg and Michael McClure such amongst the press people.
Yeah, he did. He did. Dressed in black
That's
behind that table. I've seen that. Yeah.
So, and at some point, Dylan gave the opinion that what he would like to see was for people to take signs that had like the Jack of Hearts and the Queen of Diamonds and stuff, and just go out of the town and pick it. And that somehow reminded me of Frank's sign. So I swiped this song from Dylan and adapted it as a tribute to Frank. This is Chew the Protester, the Mighty Chew. Everybody's building the big ships and the boats. Some are building monuments, others jotting down notes. Everybody's in despair, every girl and boy. But when Chew the Protester gets here, everybody's going to jump for joy. Come all without, come all through. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Chew. I like to do just like the rest. I like my sugar sweet, but guarding fumes and making haste, it ain't my cup of meat. Everybody's neath the trees, feeding pigeons on a limb. But when Chew the Protester gets here, all the pigeons gonna run to him. Come all now, come all, you too. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Chew. A cat's meow and a cow's moo, I can recite them all. Just tell me where it hurts you, honey, and I'll tell you who to call. Nobody can get no sleep. There's someone on everyone's toes. But when Chew the Protester gets here, everybody's gonna want a dose. Come all without, come all through. You'll not see nothing like the mighty Chew.
Hey. Okay. All right. And number 2, Mr. David.
So this is about a time when I went to see one of the most influential poets ever on me, and it was at the setting was a literary festival, a book festival they had down in the Design District here in San Francisco. Poem's called In the Reading Room with Two Poets. In the reading room with a few other souls, a tall, beautiful woman stands before me, talking to somebody in the next row. I glance behind me over my left shoulder. Yonder comes the Jack of Roses, or some guy doing a damn good imitation. The poet I have come here to hear. I think, here comes my death. He stops next to me and greets the tall, beautiful woman. She is the other poet reading on the program. He borrows a coin from a man in the next row and flips it to determine which of them will read first. Comes up tails. She reads first and goes to the podium and begins to read her marvelous poem.
All right.
Thanks.
Now, suspense. Who are these two memorable poets? What are their names?
Well, the man who I went to see was Robert Hunter, lyricist for the Grateful Dead, whose words influenced me, and who, coincidentally or not, is the great grandson of Robert Burns, the Bard of
Wow.
Scotland. Yeah, and the woman, I don't know. I don't remember who I never saw her before or after that moment.
Okay.
She was
enough,
good though.
Bill.
It was a wonderful poem that she read. Definitely.
All right. Okay. So next we have Bill. Bill Strangmeyer's up. Hello, Bill.
Hello. Okay. That day's approach. When dour fear has gone its lurching way, soft pain will chase our sleeping careful clouds. A kiss will ring its tocsin o'er the crowds. One day you'll say you love me, one crisp day. From summer's ample ease, our days blue wait. From autumn's supple texture, brave, mature. From winter beauty, duty, fire's warm cure. From spring, soft smiles, bright laughter, hope's fine fate. So I in the year now spin a spell to wrap brave joy in brave and joyous glee, as oceans rock their flashing, hiding fish, and every season, year and day will dwell within one day when each love's lives are free and all time's current runs to all love's wish.
Ooh. Short and sweet, yes. Okay. Well, bittersweet. Number 2, Bill.
Ocean flame. The seaweed night, the sea, your seaweed hair, green shadows cast up waves within your eyes. Sargasso's isles where bloomed the musk plant dies. In ocean's shadows, ocean's hidden lair, you wear the wind that rollicks in a smile and climbs the sea to mountain's stark brave peak, a falcon's flight to brush a lover's cheek, a beach's moon-blown foam within thought's file. Electric fire sings along your skin, pours out in luminescent green-lit glance. The ocean licks the shore with soft, cool flames. A touch resounds, bright bonfires shift within. Your trickling flame of hair will wreathe our dance when novas fire the ocean, grant their names.
Okay. Yes. All right. That's nice. Thank you, Bill. All right. Okay, so who is next on our list but Lydia? Lydia, you are up.
Hold on, I'm not ready yet. Hold on.
We've heard poets before.
All right, so I don't know what to read. Mhm. Okay, I'll read this one. This was doing a lot of different things were going on at the time on Wall Street, and I was part of the a protest there. But this is one of the ones that came out after. Where is it? After the World Trade. It's called The Bull is Crying. Industrial eyes, they are not shining. They're staring, smoke burning skies, incinerator hell ablaze. The flag staggers and swagger in a ball of smoke, and I stand for no man's symbols, except for God, love. My captivity has always been slavery, so the red, white, and the blue wrapped tightly around my ancestors' neck. They kept them from singing these songs, oh say, can you see? But I saw dark angels foretold events, and the crying world is coming to an end. So what say America to defend its stocks and bonds and losing position, terminal restriction, corp traders and capitalist raiders made themselves financial gods. And Babylon, as they say, is on fire. Just look in the book of Revelations, locked into submission. And now we are brought to our knees, held in the balance of our own greed, cemented piles of leftover steel, blown glass perished in the still autumn wind, and dead bodies atop the tar and asphalt, 90-second floors and more, and fire blistered egos, broke open flesh, Cantor Fitzgerald dreams, monopolizing money game, blindsided a blow to our world. Bismillah and surrender. Come out, America, from your hypocrisy. What say with bloody hands, hijacking lands, and let me name them, kidnapping Africans, collecting countries across the globe. Revelations revealed, fate no longer concealed, and I live in a lie if I can't deny. If I tell you one nation under God, I'm indivisible to my own agenda. Peace speaks, and I'm sick of the hatred, fermented and penetrated our innards and defecated, brought to you by too much propaganda. And what say to a world power, now kneeling before others, peeling back our own skin and discovering our vulnerability? And what say the dirt of our deeds, our lies, and our constitution, our dissolution, our polluted politics? Jehovah, please forgive me, because you know I am a sinner. The earth smells, the blood soaked from too many wars. The smell of death is everywhere, from Palestine, Israel, Afghanistan, bloodlands, Africa's genocide, America's suicide. You know they believe in more than just what we believe in. It is the jihad. It is more than what we can ever expect amid the world government paid drug dealers, profiting foreign opium poppy, and dead-minded and immune to greed. Our soldiers sent home in uniforms, homes buried with taps they play and Medal of Honor. A family's grief, the smell of stench, it stinks, is devastating. And now we face the skies. I no longer see the two buildings before me. All I see is the patriotism, the meism, the sexism, the racism, commercialism, capitalism, consumerism. We are dying amid the greatest natural disaster, which is global warming. We are dying. That's all I have.
Okay. Yeah. It's hard to dispute what you said in there. Okay, thank you. And now I am going to Narcelle. Hello, Narcelle. I am going to call up your poem, Narcelle. Rose, Fire, Serenina. Rose, Fire, Serenina by Narcelle. I'm cold to the pensive slumber of roses. Rose fire, serenade is something else. I love you with an insane passion in the whisper of love that smells of sadness. In the blue rains, sad shadows disappear from my suffering life. I smile at a glance, I open my sails with the wind to another place. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, for you know it. Okay, Narcel.
Please. Heart or pain? Yes.
Yes.
Kalp ağrısı. Kalbim ağrıyor be çocuk. Kalbim. Ben mor menekşelerde umarken günü, aykırı sularda kayboluyor güneş. Esrik, davetsiz bir bulut başımda tepinir. Kalbim ağrıyor ve çocuk, kalbim. Ne yaparım ben sensiz buralarda? Hangi çiçek kavmine sığınsam acaba? Leylaktan eflatun bir renk alsam. Gelincikten nazlı bir hüzün. Tanrılı bahçelerimin ağrıyan kalbime. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Here is another poem from Narcel that addresses the season we're in, as it'll explain to itself. And this is called Anemone. Do I say that right? Anemone. And anemone. I'm out of breath on icy nights. I can't reach the yellow heat of the sun. In my soul, a scarlet fire of rebellion from time immemorial, a love in my heart. If one day I die, shake me with my purple anemone hands in the anarchic beauty of sadness. I have a crush on you and a flower in the sky. How can this heart endure rainy, hazy eyes? How many oceans have you finished in your aching heart? I am afflicted with the love of rose and marshmallow tonight.
Thank you. Love and hope. Yes.
Yes.
Yaşam ve umut. Ölümle flört et. Yürekli hafiften yosma. Haylazca gülümse yaşama. Bahar dalından göz kapakları. Denizlerin derinliği ki aşık eder seni bilinmeyene. Bir gül kaydı ellerden yaşamın ince çizgisinde. Hür ve sınırsız çelik yüreklerde buz. Ölümle flört et. Yüreği hafiften yosma. Haylazca gülümse yaşama. Bahar dalından göz kapakları. Yatsımaz yaşam, yatsımaz ölüm. Kendini tatlı bir busede. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
okay. And I'm just very struck by the fact that you read such poems where you express such pain. And while you're reading, the look on your face and the tone of your
Maybe the tone of your voice.
to me anyway, your resilience and your rebellion against, things that don't go right in love. So, okay. Okay, thank you, Narcel, All right. Now the next would be Claire, but I don't see Claire. So she must have fell off. And sometimes she gets an unstable signal. So I'm sorry about that because I always like to hear her as well. So let us go now to Signorina Carolina here in Paris. Hello, Carolina.
Hello. Um, well, let's begin with Margaret Atwood's poem, and after one of my poems, but they're strangely connected. I read the Margaret Atwood poem after writing my poem. And you'll see. The small cabin. The house we built gradually from the ground up when we were young. 3 rooms, the walls, raw trees, burned down last year, they said. I didn't see it. And so the house is still there in me. Among branches as always, I stand inside it looking out at the rain moving across the lake. But when I go back to the empty place in the forest, the house will blaze and crumple suddenly in my mind, collapsing like a cardboard carton, thrown on a bonfire, summers, crackling my earlier selves outlined in plain. Left in my head will be the blackened earth, the truth. Where did the house go? Where do the words go when we have said them? That was Margaret Atwood's Little Cabin.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry I spoke before you finished. There was such a long pause there. Okay. House is a mirage inside the mind. All right.
Mm.
And your
so,
second contribution, Carolina.
And so the other one will be in French and is mine. It's the first part of a 3-part poem, but I just read the first one. La maison brouillard. C'est la fin de l'été. Elle remonte le chemin. Le ciel bas et lourd présage de la pluie. Il fait sombre, en plein midi. Elle hâte le pas. Ça doit être l'émotion, ça fait flou par endroits. On dirait des lambeaux de brume qui s'accrochent aux fenêtres, à la cheminée, au pied de la porte. Elle entre. Gardien silencieux, l'ours s'est figé la patte en l'air face à la porte. Ça sent les pâtes, les échalotes au beurre, la colle à papier peint. Dans l'évier, un verre avec un fond de bière séchée. Du bout des doigts, elle suit le mur jusqu'à la porte de la chambre. On cherche la poignée. Un flot de brouillard déferle sur elle. Il s'écoule du tableau en un flot sombre. Il déborde la cheminée, les fenêtres, la porte. Il dévore le paysage, les arbres, le chemin. C'est un froid qui s'infiltre jusqu'à l'os. Dehors, tout a disparu, derrière un mur opaque. Elle referme la porte, mais c'est déjà trop tard. Elle a vu ce qu'elle ne voulait pas voir. Le brouillard a tout absorbé, le lit, le secrétaire, l'armoire, le valet de lit, la table de nuit. Il reste la boîte à couture posée sur la cheminée, à côté de la baba et du bilboquet avec son fil raccourci pour qu'elle puisse en faire sans risquer de s'assommer. La maison semble abandonnée, mais elle sent encore la vie. Elle entre prendre les 3 objets et referme la porte sans se retourner. C'est comme un déménagement qui aurait perdu l'essentiel. Elle est nulle part et partout à la fois. Sur le verre où se sont posées ses lèvres, dans la poêle où elle a fait revenir les rognons, sur le banc où elle s'est assise, dans cette boîte à couture dont elle a longuement manipulé chaque objet. L'horloge s'est arrêtée. Elle est partie avec la clé. C'est tellement vide, c'est tellement froid, il n'y a plus de chemin. Elle se réfugie dans l'atelier avec les pinceaux, les pots de pigments alignés sous les fenêtres, la boîte de clous tapissier dorée. Elle monte une toile sur un châssis, elle peint le vent, elle peint la tempête, elle peint quelque chose capable de dégager cette saloperie de brouillard. Mais elle se demande si ça ne serait pas pire de voir briller le soleil sur tout ce vide.
Okay. Merci.
Two
Merci,
houses.
Caroline. Well, I, for one, have walked into houses I've lived in, and they have a strange presence on me. Well, I
Mm,
imagine who and what happened here.
mm.
So I can identify with that kind of sentiment myself. Okay, we leave something in a house. I don't know. I don't want to get into whether there's ghosts or not ghosts, but we leave, it seems to me we leave something in a house behind that we can identify with when we walk back in.
Mm.
And that's kind of almost paranormal, certainly not usual. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, wow, we're going to stay in Paris tonight. We're going to stay in Paris with a return to Jack Cooper.
Yeah, so I found Christ Climbed Down, the Ferlinghetti poem,
Okay,
which I thought I would do some part of at least. So a couple of covers for me. It goes, I mean, it's rather long, but it begins, Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where there were no rootless Christmas trees, hung with candy canes and breakable stars. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where there were no gilded Christmas trees, and no tinsel Christmas trees, and no tinfoil Christmas trees, and no pink plastic Christmas trees, and no gold Christmas trees, and no black Christmas trees, and no powder blue Christmas trees, hung with electric candles and encircled by tin electric trains and clever cornball relatives. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no intrepid Bible salesman covered the territory in two-tone Cadillacs, and where no Sears Roebuck creches, complete with plastic babe and manger, arrived by parcel post, a babe in special delivery, and where no televised wise men praised the Lord Calvert whiskey. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no fat hand-shaking stranger in a red flannel suit and a fake white beard went around passing himself off as some sort of North Pole saint crossing the desert to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, in a Volkswagen sled drawn by rollicking Adirondack reindeer and German names and bearing sacks of humble gifts from Saks Fifth Avenue for everybody's imagined Christ child. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and ran away to where no Bing Crosby carolers groaned of a tight Christmas and where no Radio City angels ice skated wingless through a winter wonderland into a jingle bell heaven daily at 8:30 with midnight mass matinees. Christ climbed down from his bare tree this year and softly stole away into some anonymous Mary's womb again, where in the darkest night of everybody's anonymous soul, he awaits again an unimaginable and impossibly immaculate reconception, the very craziest of second coming.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that is beat. That is beat.
It's so beat.
I like that.
Can you?
Serengeti.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Boy, does he strip the artificiality?
Really?
Yeah, he even disses Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
All right, he goes the full tilt boogie on that.
Right.
So, can you date the publishing
Oh,
of
yeah,
that
it's
poem?
1958.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Can you imagine people in 1958, for us in America, folks, to have that poem come out? People would have been accused of being communists,
Communists.
atheists, traitorous, un-Americans,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because plastic tree, pink trees, tinfoil trees, then it got them to be also labeled un-American, right? Let alone, what is it? Godless communists, right? Wasn't that the
Right.
term? Godless communists. And I used to think when I got younger, well, of course they're godless communists. Name me a communist who's following God. Cut it out. God.
They
See,
are antithetical. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what
Uh,
he
So
must
it's
have
funny,
had.
the shock value is amazing. I mean, I remember giving Howell
oh,
to
Ginsburg.
read to a pre-GED class
Wow.
at Queens Community College,
Okay.
at LaGuardia Community College. And it's just, I mean, these kids absolutely went crazy. They went crazy, looking at all the, the bad words. And I remember when I first read that poem, Christ Claimed Down, when I, wasn't that much longer from 1958, but I remember just focusing on his bare tree, that was just so outrageous.
Mhm.
The conception of
Right.
his tree is that.
Wow. Yeah.
Shock value.
Lawrence Ferlinghetti.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So
Touring yeah, go ahead, Jack.
So no, I was going to say I was going to follow it with a poem by E. E. Cummings,
Oh.
Let's do it.
which is called Little Tree.
Okay.
Little tree, little silent Christmas tree. You are so little. You are more like a flower. Who found you in the green forest? And were you very sorry to come away? See, I will comfort you because you smell so sweetly. I will kiss your cool bark and hug you safe and tight, just as your mother would. Only don't be afraid. Look, the spangles that sleep all year in a dark box, dreaming of being taken out and allowed to shine, the balls, the chains, red and gold, the fluffy threads. Put up your little arms, and I'll give them all to you to hold. Every finger shall have its ring, and there won't be a single place dark or unhappy. Then, when you're quite dressed, you'll stand in the window for everyone to see, and how they'll stare. Oh, but you'll be very proud. And my little sister and I will take hands, and looking up at our beautiful tree, we'll dance and sing, Noel, Noel.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, E. E. Cummings. All right. Okay, so I'm the last one here, and I'm gonna. Okay. Oop,
What do we got?
sorry.
And I was talking to Tony here.
Okay. I'm about to call something up that's been republished. So let's see if that works. Okay. Um, several weeks ago, I submitted some things to Lift Lorry Poetry Journal, and they got published. But a week ago, they came out again as part of Strider Marcus Jones' efforts to nominate this these pieces for what's called what he called Best of the Net category creative nonfiction. So I was happy that it came back up. Somehow it got reviewed in that, and I'm not even knowing. To tell you the truth, I don't even know what Best of the Net is, but I'm happy that Strider thought I should be put in there. So I will read you some quick excerpts from this. Okay. My childhood would be marked by song and dance. For most of it, we had no phone. Dad would briefly bring home cars on their last crank, soon to sit squat in front of the house before being towed away. He was equally adept at providing televisions with a lifespan short as a season opener. Night arrivals, drunk and done with his long day. Mom popped out one child after another, and by the age of 27, she birthed 9 children and 2 miscarriages. When asked by startled inquirers, "Why do you have such a big family?" I would become interrupted. Hold on a minute, guys. I just got interrupted. I would borrow a response known to Irish Catholics called "Our TV broke." Okay, well, lacking the amenities common to lower class families, we did, however, possess 2 cherished instruments, a radio and record player. From morning through night, music accompanied, orchestrated our innocent young lives. Never a dispute over which station to listen to, as Mum fixed the dial to a popular AM station that churned out the leading tunes of the day, which were rhythm and blues, rock and roll, and for her, country. This was my initiation to the 3 music genres that shaped my ears and learned movements for a life to follow. The fusion would lead me by curiosity to discover higher realms, jazz, bossa nova, flamenco, and Bach. Mom herself was a diehard fan of radio play and a very nimble dancer. Confined to a cramped, crowded, cluttered house, she both coped and celebrated the music, sweeping floors, doing dishes, washing clothes. She would sing along and swing and sway to the hits of the day, known as the Top 40. Instinctively, we followed suit, singing out of key and imitating Mom's steps. In the hot season, with window opened, we could be heard in chorus, belting out the likes of Elvis, the Beatles, Fats Dominoes, and that song Mom always loved, "Let the Little Girl Dance." That was her anthem. I think I was 10 years old when I procured my own radio, a glowing tube-lit Zenith. I sat next to my bed. On Sunday nights, the airwaves were relaxed, and I picked up shows from Buffalo, Fort Wayne, and New York City. Listening, I felt joined to a larger world, an ambition I was fixed on, confident I would further grow into and reside in. Books served to detail my knowledge of past and present that I aimed to curate. From these formative years, 12, I attended my first dance in a nearby church. The DJ announced the dance contest. I took a dance partner and off we gyrated. My grief floated head dripping like a petroleum spill. I won the dance contest. The prize, a Beatles album. I handed it to my cute little Italian dance partner. Cheers and applause. Local boy makes good. After the dance, I flew home excited to tell Mom that I had won a dance contest. My pride ebbing the news with her. She asked, "Where is your album, honey?" I gave it to the girl, Ma. She smiled, saying, "That's nice." I blushed for a moment in her presence. It was as if she and I had won the dance contest. "Show me how you do it, son," she asked. Suddenly, embarrassed and shy to demonstrate in front of my teacher, hesitantly, I made a few awkward steps. Mom slapped me on my hip, saying, "Come on, honey, let me see you really do it." And she strode over to that radio, turned it real loud in a raised voice, then captured my feelings when she hollered, "Let's go. Turn it up."
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I do. That's great.
Okay. Now I'm going to read you the second one, and that'll be my last one. And here we go. It's called At 10 Years Old. Directly behind our ramshackle house, the tracks. A diesel pulling 74 freight cars, its fumes invading my bedroom, distasteful. A wake-up stimulant way past midnight. The room shook, the windows rattled, we vibrated. I don't want to go to school in the thoughtless morning. The squeal of steel weighing upon iron, calling a "come on, man, let's go, get aboard, no time for the hesitant," ran through my mind. Wheels kneading the rails, rails a path to who knows where. Well, that's odyssey. What is known amounts to nothing to hold on to, like the boring food from last night's dinner. Promise of the unknown, the currency of risk, filled my empty pockets. Awake, I dreamed of different discovery. Sinbad, clandestine for the concrete shores of metropole. Broad lanes, smooth, hard metal, and bright lights. Yeah, buildings so high in the sky, my mountains that climb. Dreamy darkness gave way to a gray-clad morning. Pigeons stirred and cooed the language of resignation. No sight or sound of that rolling stock. I cried that train passed by. I cried like a train. Okay. So there's two of my entries for the creation of nonfiction. We write what we know, so I'm typical on that. Okay, so there we have it. 2 rounds and a guest appearance by Francois Bolger, our photographer from New York. So, what is it? Next week is the day after Christmas. Now, let me ask you, people, should we hold Angora poets next Sunday, as it is the day after Christmas? Now, I don't want to offend non-Christians here, or aluminum foil trees, or fat men with fake beards. But what I do want to know is, shall we convene next Sunday, one day after Christmas? Any opinions or recommendations on this, yay or nay?
That would be nice, but I'll be driving back to New York from Virginia.
Okay. Right. Anybody else have a feeling about this?
I'll probably be busy. I probably won't be able to make it.
Let's take a week off, Mo, for the holiday. Why not?
Was that you, Dharma? Were you saying
Yeah,
something?
I mean, yeah, why not? We'll just relax.
Does that mean convene, or what does that mean? Or relaxing the way we relax?
Yeah, I mean, it's Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Boxing Day, exactly. So we may be busy boxing.
Yeah, I'll be out of the box.
Okay, so
On Sunday.
yeah, it would be on Sunday, Carolina.
Yeah.
Once again okay, so I'm hearing a split decision here. Does anybody want to conclude what they think we should do? Anything?
Well, if it happens, I'll show up. I'm more than likely, barring anything else. But if you guys want to take a break, that's understandable. And
I would like to be ice skating.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
Well,
And
I
then,
I can, if you want to be on next Sunday, just to see if there will be someone or something
There
else, or
you
just
go.
say hello, I can be there.
There you
I
go,
won't
Mo.
be out boxing or anything.
right.
I will be at home.
We could
You and I
box
could sit
earlier
there
in
and
the day,
lament.
Yeah.
You and I can lament things like COVID and stay home stuff. Like, oh, we could do it. Just joking. Okay. And do you know the following Sunday is am I correct? Is that January 2nd?
Something
Take a
like
look
that,
here.
yes. Yeah, it will be January the 2nd.
Wow.
Okay, it is well, I have a calendar.
Just the
That'll be a new
Sunday
year.
before.
Hooray.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
that would be January 2nd.
Yes,
Is that right?
Right.
yes.
Okay, so that would mean those of us who go out on New Year's Eve or do family, we would have over 24 hours to sort of come back into normalcy,
Okay.
right? I mean,
Hey,
it
we don't
wouldn't
need a
be-
break. This is Angora Poets. We don't need to take a break.
That's true.
I'll see you next Sunday, Mo.
Well, oh,
Well met.
I think there's been a putsch in this beer hall. Okay, all right. So then, okay, I'll call it for. Let's see. I'll call it for next Sunday, because by that time I'll be fully rested. Frankly, none of my friends do anything crazy on Christmas. I all do it before and after.
I already celebrated it with you 2 years ago.
Yes, yes. There were, yeah, we did like you said, David. We said, let's go to this session tonight. We don't, we have to. Was it on Christmas night itself, Caroline? It was.
Yes, it was.
And we went to a slam competition.
Wow.
That where a flimsy tent was put up in a vacant terrace next to a bar that wasn't letting anybody inside. We sat there with all our clothes on in the flimsy little tent, and there were 3 poets and 2 guys from Poland who we never saw before. They were getting drunk and laughing at us. Amerikansky, Amerikansky, Amerikansky, Francesi. So this was supposed to be a slam that's held every Tuesday, and there is a vote and a count for the winner. Now that usually involves some 20 to 25 participants, Caroline, for instance, and there were 3 of us who participated, and guess what? I won the slam with 3 contestants and 2 Polish hecklers, or 3 Polish hecklers sitting on a bench laughing at everything. My heart bleeds. They started laughing. I love you so much, I cry. Amerikansky, Amerikansky. So,
That's fucking great, dude.
I feel so alone on this holiday period. Beer, vodka, Amerikansky. So we were shivering, and our host, what did he give me? He gave me a ham sandwich, right? I won.
Yeah.
I won a
Those are
nearly
your
frozen
prize.
ham sandwich, which I ate in the cold with a warm cup of coffee. So that was my glorious victory night.
That's
And
fabulous.
Caroline was there.
I was presenting the slam.
Yes. So she couldn't win because she was a presenter, really.
Right.
So it was rigged. That's why I showed up. I knew this was rigged. So that was the only time I ever won at that slam. So, so I got a lot of bragging rights on this.
Sure did.
But I think we really did something good for those Polish men, because they were really happy as kids at the end of
Yeah,
the
they
night.
were.
Because I offered them chocolates,
Yeah,
Santa Claus and chocolate,
yeah.
and they were so happy, just like
They were so
kids.
happy. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
wow,
That's
this
right.
is Christmas. This is Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. They were just happy to be there. And being from Poland, drinking vodka and beer in the cold with a small tent cover, they thought they were like in a
Yeah.
3-star. You know what I mean? They thought they were coming up in the world. In Poland, we drink outside. Yeah.
A lot.
So they were trying to put English words together. Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember that, Caroline? It's like, you, oh, Amerikansky, haha.
So Mo, does this slam have a Hall of Fame?
Did it have what?
Yeah.
A Hall of Fame.
If it did, I'm looking for my mention. I'll tell you what.
You should be in there.
Right. So that's my bragging rights for my one and only time of winning at the slam organized by Pilot Lahot, Hot Pilot. Okay. So there we go. And then when we left, Caroline, when it was over, we were the only ones on the street.
Yeah, that's true.
We congratulated it. By this point, everybody was either in church or in their apartments by the time we left. And we just like looked at a vacant street. It was just, I don't know how to express all the ecstatic feeling of that evening. There you go.
Christmas Eve in Paris, I like it. I think there is something when you're walking in the street just at the closing time of the churches. It's just like it's nice. People are happy. Going out of the churches, they are happy. If they are coming home with all the presents and anything, they are just rude. But out of the churches, they are happy.
Because I've been to French Catholic Mass, High Mass on Christmas, and they're enough to make anyone depressed. They really are.
So they're happy to come in.
The Protestants in the States, even a lot of the Catholic priests, joy to the world, a child is born, love your family. In the French churches, he came to cure your sins. He suffered for you. He won't be on earth very long before he goes away in blood, sweat, and tears. Now, how do you feel? It was like, whoa, man. So, that's how it worked. Everybody walked out going, oh, it's Chris. C'est Noël. So, that's how he conducted it. So I understand, Caroline, how people, well, that's over. Now I can stop feeling guilty for Christ. So there we go.
No,
all right.
There y a les crèches. I don't know. In Catholic churches, there are the little baby Jesus.
Yeah.
And the animals and Maria and Joseph.
Nativity.
Yeah. There are little nativities in old churches. And some of them are really beautiful. Like Notre Dame ones, it was wow. But before it burned, it used to be very.
Some of the churches look very festive. It's just too many of the priests in this, with these dark sermons on Christmas night. Good, it's almost like you're having too much fun. Now that's too much fun out there, like Jesus wouldn't like that. So okay. Anyway, then I'll see you all next week, and thank you, Rorschach, for putting us up on the YouTube.
Great pleasure to do that.
Okay, so I'll say bye for now, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. When Ramadan comes on, I'm for all the holidays. So I'll
Happy
celebrate
Kwanzaa and Kuchi Chakalia.
Yeah,
that's right. 8 days to Kwanzaa, right? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so good. I hope we either offended nobody or offended
No.
everybody. No
There you
middle
go.
ground.
Yuletide cheer, T-Hawk.
Bye-bye. Peace and blessings.
Okay, bye. Everybody, thank everybody. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.